we started looking at the Visual Basic for application with Excel. We looked at how to develop the interface. Okay, so today we want to complete it by looking at the coding aspect. And then we'll also talk about the areas for the exams. Yes, there's a hand up. Charles.
Is it an...
All right. So that's our, so basically this will be our last meeting, just to go through that, look at the program and coding aspects. And then I'll also share a YouTube video with you to see how you can design the interface in case there's a change in the interface, what you have to do. Okay, so I'll share that video with you as well. All right, so let's quickly go through what we started, and then we'll we'll discuss the exams. All right, so if you all remember, we designed this interface on our in class. We looked at how to add the various control panels. Okay, so the ActiveX controls, we added a text box, we added an option button, we added text box, we added a combo box, okay, and then buttons. So this is not complete yet. So I'll just quickly go through it. We'll set the properties for the various controls, and then I'll go over it again, and then we can now look at the code. So like I said, you always make sure, I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir, please, yes.
Okay. So make it
Yes, sir.
a bit larger. So like I said, you have to first check the design mode. Once it is checked, it means that you now have access to the controls. Okay, so we'll start with this. Right click, go to properties. Then
Okay.
from the property window, we are going to give it a name. So let's say this is our name text box. Okay, then we come to this option menu, option button, right click, go to properties, give it a name. So we said this is mail option button. So I give it a name, mail OB, and then the caption. That's the text we want to see displayed there. So we change that to mail. And then select the next one, which is option button 2, change it to female OB option button. And then the caption as well, we change it to female. Change it to female. We come to the next text box. That's the ID text box. So I give it the name IDBT. And then we come to the button. So this is, I think we did it save BT, save button. And then the caption is save or submit, whichever one you choose to use. And then this is the clear or reset button. So we change it to, let's say, reset button. And then the caption will be reset. The caption is reset. Then for the combo box, so the combo box, okay, we said that I'm showing the grid line. So we said you enter the details within the cell. Okay, so if I'm using cell H, so we enter H and D. Okay, the text is already there. I think we changed this to white. So yes. So we enter the text. We enter the text to show in the combo box. Okay, so where we have the various programs. So HND Computer Science, BTech Computer Science, BTech 4 years, BTech Cybersecurity. Okay, so we said that this should be added to the combo box. So when you right click and you go to properties on the combo box, we give it the name. So we say program DB for combo box. And then we look for list fill range. List fill range. So under the list fill range property, just select it. Okay. And then enter the range for which you entered, you type the program. So in my case, this cell H2 all the way to cell H6. So I go back there inside the combo property, combo box, list fill range. So I start from H2 to H6. H2 to H6. So once that is done, you just make sure your text is white so that no one can see what you've typed. Okay, and if I don't know if I mentioned it to other classes, but I said the best thing is to keep this far away from the user. So go to a cell that is far away from the user and type this there. Okay, because some users tend to be deleting cells and all that. So if you type it close to the form and the user deletes it, it changes the behavior of your application. That's the best thing is to type it away, far away from the form or the interface. All right, so that is it for our interface. If we go back to the developer tab, we leave the design mode. We realize that we now have our interface working perfectly. All right, so now let's go to the data sheet. We are going to enter the details. First one, we have serial number. So let's put the serial number. Then we have name. The next cell, we have name. We have, after the name, I think, gender. After gender, we have ID. We have ID. After the ID, we have program. So we are saying that whatever details is entered in the form, once you click on save, that should show over here or be displayed over here. So the gender, the ID, then the program. So we can do this up to, let's say, 16. create, make it bold, or create some borders around it. Make it look presentable so that anyone who has access to it can easily read what you have there. So let me make the serial SN because it's going to be auto increment the numbers. All right, so always keep notes. Anytime you are typing the details, make sure you have it saved. Okay, so anytime you are typing it out, make sure you are saving the work. Very important. I taught you how to save it. You save it as a macro-enabled document. Okay, you don't save it as the usual Excel saving that we do, but this time you save it as a macro-enabled document. All right. So now let's go into our code. So when we go to the developer tab, we go to VB code, gives us our interface. Okay. Now we make sure you select the form which has the interface. Okay, so our interface is on the, you select the sheet which has the interface. So that interface is on the sheet we named form. Okay, so once we have it selected, we go back to our sheet. Okay. Design mode is selected. And now we have to write the code. Okay. So first, we are going to validate the form. And we'll validate the form and make sure it sets some properties, the background properties, and so on. So we select the form. So in here, we type, I hope you can see the screen. Let me see if I can increase the window property. All right, let's just go on. You have the code in the handout already, so we wouldn't do much. So we say function, validate, form as Boolean. So we validate the form as Boolean. Now within this, we introduce or set the background property for the various text field that we are using. So the name text field, the ID text field, the program text field. Okay, so we do that, validate those ID, and then we set the form true. So we say the name dot is name TV dot back color. Okay. We set it to white. So VB white, that's the code for that. Then we do that of the ID. So IDTB dot back color. Also to white, VB white. Okay. I'll just copy this dot back color to white whilst we set it for the program as well. So program dot, sorry, it's program CB. So CB combo box. Okay. So we set that to white. Then when we are done, we validate form. We set it to true. Now, the next thing we want to do is to set the property for our we set the property for the name text field. Okay, so the name text field. So we say that if string so we say if string just a moment. All right, so we know that the text field, okay, is supposed to take a name. Okay, so we are going to write the code in such a way that if the person is filling, we want to make it mandatory, okay, because the person is supposed to fill every field over here before the person can save, the user can save. Okay, so if the user is not selecting the options or is not filling those options, we need to prompt the person, put in some, put in a code All right. So we want to do it such that if the person doesn't fill the name text field, okay, there should be the color should change to red. Okay, if you notice initially we set the back color to white for the name text field. So if the person doesn't fill it, it should change to red. Okay, so if the person doesn't fill this, it now comes to click on save. It change to red to prompt the person that they have to fill that particular text box before saving. Okay, so that's the code we are going to write. We'll do same for the other text field. Okay, make sure the person enters for all those text fields before they can continue. All right. So let's quickly do that. Trim. So if trim, and the trim is a function which is used to it's used to accept strings, okay, in VB. So take string argument and so trim name TB dot value. Okay, because the name text field is supposed to take a value. Now, if that value is empty, okay, if that value is empty, so you can see that I'm saying that trim value the name TB value equals empty, then what do? We should introduce a message box, and that message box should read as that message box should read as, just a moment. Yes, so let's go on. So we are going to enter a message here and say student name can't or cannot be blank. Student name cannot be blank. Okay, and because it's a message box, we want to give it an OK button. So that's the only option you can choose. You can't cancel. So VB OK only. And then we add VB information. So information, and that information will be name. Then the name text box will set the color to red. That's if it's false. The name TB dot color, so VB red, we set it to red, so it should show a red interface. And then we also activate the text field. Okay. And then set validate form to false. Yes, madam.
Stop.
All right. Sorry. Let's continue. So we've set the validate form to true. Sorry, we set it to false. Then we move to the else part. So we say else if so we are setting this for all the options. So we move to the what's it called? The gender. Okay, so we say so the gender, we have the male. So it was a combo option button we use. So OB, male OB dot value. Okay. So we are setting it such that we are prompting the user to make sure they select all those options. Okay, all those options that we displayed there. So male value, male dot value, if it is false, equals to false. And the female option, which is female OB dot value, that is also equals to false. Then we are saying that the message, or there should be a message. So I just copy this message and put it here and say, please select your gender. Okay, so please select your gender. Please select your gender. Okay, so here we'll put here gender. Okay. Then we set validate form to be false. Validate form to be false. Okay. So the next one is the ID, but I'll skip the ID because it's the same approach as it's also a combo box, just as the name. Okay, it's also a combo box, just as the name. So I'll skip that. It's the same approach. So I'll just skip it and then move to the it's a text box, sorry, just as the name. Okay, so I'll skip that and then move to the combo box, which is for the program. So else if combo box, so we named it as program PRJ CB for combo box dot text. Okay, so now what we are going to do here is to compare the text. So if you remember, let me just make the text visible again so that I could just copy it and use it. So if we come back here, you say, so the program, and we know the equal to sign, okay? So we are using the not equal to. If you look at all the example we gave here, if in this case, if the name text field is blank, if it's blank, the second option is if the option button, the male and female option button are false. If they are false, that means the individual didn't select them. Okay, so this one we are saying that if the option, the combo box, the option that was selected is not, so we are putting the text there. So the first option was the HND Computer Science. So I'll just select it. Now, if you want to type it in, you might make a mistake. Okay, so the best thing is to come and copy whatever value is there. Just copy it. It's happening. Just copy it and then paste in here. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Because if you want to type it, you might end up making a mistake. So we are saying if the program combo box dot text, okay, that's if that text in there that was selected is not computer science, and so we will continue, and it is not. So what's the next one? So we'll go there, select the next one, and it's not BTech top up 4 years. So let me just use these two, okay, so that you see the flow of the code, and then you can do the rest. So if it's not this, and sorry, and it is not the top up, okay, and make sure they are all strings, so you make sure they are in the double quotes, okay. Now, if you are typing and your text seems to be too long, just use the underscore, and then come and continue on the next line. Please, are you with me? So you realize that your options are too long. Okay, just use the underscore and continue on the next line. So maybe I want to add another. So I say, and we know that with anytime you use the and logical operator, your operand should be positive for your and logical operator to also be positive. Okay, so we come back here. Let me just add the last one, computer science. We take computer science 4 years, and then go back and paste it here. Computer science 4 years. Okay. So if all this, then what? Then there should be a message. So what message should we put there? We put there the message. We put there the message and say the student or the program cannot be blank. So the program cannot be blank. Okay. So we change here to program, the information to program. And then we can make the combo box red, and then we'll deactivate the form. We make the form false. Okay, so I've just copied that section of the code, but this time it's not the name, it's the program. So program CB, and then program CB dot activate, program CB dot activate. All right. So after this, we end our if. And if. Now we need to introduce a function for the reset, okay, and also a function for the reset and the save. Okay, for the reset and the save. So the reset, so we create a click function for the reset. Okay, but before we do that, write that code, we want to introduce a function for the reset. Now in that function, we are going to specify how it should reset. Okay, then we will call the function inside the click, okay, that we just did, the click event that we did. So we say function, so we name the function reset. Function reset. Okay, so the reset function, we say that we introduce what is called the application screen, application dot screen uploading. We set it to false. And then we take the name text box, name TB dot value. We set that to, so if you want to reset, basically you are making the space empty for the person to enter a value. Okay, and then we set the back color back to white. So I'll just copy and paste this. And do the same for the program. So program CB. Now for the program CB, it's not the value, we are using text. So if you remember the way we did we use text. Okay, and then we change the color back to white, prog CB. That's the combo box. Then the next one we want to do for that of the option menu. Okay, or the option button. So that one we have the mail OB dot value. Okay, and we set that to false. We do same for female OB dot value. We set that also false. Set that also false. Then after we set the application screen updating to true. Okay, so after you've done all of that, you set the application screen updating true. Okay. Then we come into our click the reset button event. Okay, so with that one, what you just do is, now the function, you write it in there, but if you want to create the event, you can just right click on it, on the button, and then go to view code. So the view code will create that click event for you. Okay, so that's what we have here. So over here, we are going to declare a variable, okay, and that variable will set a message box on it. So the message box will pop up, okay, to request whether you want to reset, okay, or you want to reset the form. So that's what you do. So we say dim I as integer, okay, and then we say I equals message box, or yes, message box. Now in the message box, we give it the message. We say do you want to reset this form? The question. So this will be a VB question. So we want it to come out as a VB question. Now, anytime it comes out as a VB question, you concatenate it with a yes or no response. So VB yes or no. And then we add a default button. So the default button VB default button. And then finally, we'll say, give it a text form reset. So we'll add a text to it that says form reset. Now we add an if statement to say that if we reset the form, if I is equal to yes, okay, so we have given a condition. You want to reset the form, yes or no? So if it is yes, so if I is equal to VB, yes, then we should call, so we are calling the reset function, which is this function. So call reset, okay, and then we end if, call reset. Okay, so if you click on no, then the no will just exit the message box. Okay, so that's it for the reset button. Now we have the last part of the code, which is the most interesting part, because that is where we are going to save everything we've done. Okay, so what we'll do is to create the click event. So I select my save. So I think we named it as save BTN. So select the save and then go to view code. So you can see that that code or that part has also given you a private sub save BTN underscore click. So that's a click event. So same here, we are going to do the application. Now, just a quick one. You can decide to introduce this function for reset or not. Now, if you are not introducing this function for reset, then that means the code that is here can be written inside the condition if I is BBS. That's if the person selected yes on the message box. You can just put this code here if you don't want to write the function. If you don't want to call the function, you can just type the code in here. Okay. So inside the save button, we are going to put the updating screen. We'll first set it to false. Then after, we'll declare a variable for the rows now. So this is going to handle how data is entered into the data sheet. Okay, so the data should be entered in terms of rows. So if I click save, it should enter the values in terms of the row. Okay, so we start by saying declaring the variable. So we say dim I row as long. And then we say I row equals sheet. So which sheet are we using? We are using the data.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
Michael.
please, can you show your this one a little bit?
Unfortunately, I can't scroll down.
Oh, okay, because this one has blocked. I can't even see.
Let me see. Okay, let me press enter. Is it better?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So I row sheet. So you realize that this time we are using the data sheet. Okay, so you put the sheet into bracket. Okay, double quote. So we name the sheet data. Data dot, we set the range. Okay, so the range up to, let's say, I think we did up to A16. So A16. So we say range into bracket A, say 16 dot N into bracket Excel into bracket XL up dot row plus one. Okay. So what we are doing here is to set the value for the serial number. Okay. So for it to update each time the value is entered. Then now we say if validate form equals true, then we use a keyword with this workbook sheet, workbook.sheet. So the data sheet, so into bracket data. Okay. Then we specify the range. So the first one is dot range into brackets. So the first range is starting from the cell A. And to concatenate it with the row, I row that we declared dot value equals I row minus one. Then we do the next for cell B. So cell B, so this first cell, this one is going to handle the serial numbers. So cell B, I row value. So this time we are going to take the name. So name DB dot value. And then the next cell is for that cell C or column C. Sorry, column C. So column C, the value we are going to put there is the male or female text box or option button. So we say if, okay, so there's this if expression, which is I if. Okay, so we use that to take expression for if you want to specify a true a true or false statement. Okay, just within one line of expression, we use that option. So we say the male first. We start with the male option button dot value. Okay, is equal to true. So we set it for the first one. If you remember the question we saw in the midterm, okay, which was saying specifying another way to write an if-else statement in VB.NET. Okay, it's the same approach over here. So it's either male or female if the value is male, okay, or if the value is female. Then we did the last one. So I think we skipped the cell D, which is the ID because it's the same as the text box. So we skip the D cell and then we come to E. Okay. So I'll do for the E, that's the combo box. So equals prog db cg dot text. So the combo box, you use text, take note. If it's a text box, you use value to accept the value. But the combo box has text in it already, so we use text. So when you are done, you end your with. And then you can also call the reset. Okay, so it's best you write the reset as a function so that you can always call it. Now, if you don't write it as a function, that means you have to come and repeat this whole code here again. Okay, which makes it a bit lengthy. Okay. So after validating the form, we said if validate form is true. Now, if it is false, else what do? We set the application screen updating to false. So I'll just copy and paste this. We set this to false. Oh, sorry, we set this to true because it was already false. And then we end the if and if. Then to end the sub, we set it to true again. So to end the entire thing. Okay. So before we end the sub, we set the application thing to true. Okay, so this is our code for the interface. So let's run it and see. The name cannot be blank, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's go to our interface. Hope I've not omitted any code. And let's form. So we are exiting the design view. Okay, so let's enter. So once I click on reset, it's asking me, in fact, let's make this, let me select no. Let's take this off. Change it to white. Okay, so over here, let's do the reset and see if it works. So do you want to reset this form? If you click yes, you can see that all the fields, okay, has gone to blank. Okay, so that's the reset code we wrote. So now we want to enter details. So you enter the name. So we say Johnson. You can see that the text is not showing, so we need to enlarge it a bit, the text box a bit. So you have to go back to design, check the design mode, select it, and make it bigger. Okay, so that will apply to, in fact, we are not doing for the ID, so we can skip it. I just, if you want to enlarge it, okay, you can just enlarge it simply like this, so that the text can be visible. Once you are done, go back to your form, exit the design mode. So let's say Johnson Ado. Okay, so it's a male selected. We didn't write the code for this, so whatever we type here wouldn't have any effect. So let's just skip it. And then let's come to the program Johnson Ado is doing. We select what HND Computer Science, and then we click on save. Okay, it's given an error runtime 414. Okay, objects required. All right. So there's an error with the program part. We need to check that. You can see that aside that it's entered the details. Are you all following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you want to enter for the next person, just click on reset. Enter the next person. 18 months. It's a female program. So the issue is with the program part. We need to check that. So you can see that it enters for the next person. Okay. So basically, that is how you create your form, your VB form, and then write the code behind it, the form, some tags, VB text. Okay. So if you are following with the handouts, just make sure you are paying attention to your name, the property name of the various ActiveX property. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to end the class because I have another meeting. And so I'll make this available. I hope when you are typing, and I'll also make a video available to guide you through the same steps again. Okay. Try to identify where the error is. Might take some time. Okay, so I'll make another video available that so you can watch and then compare, and then in case you see the error, you can rectify where the error is occurring. All right. Any question? Any question before we talk about the areas? Any question?
Please, are we going to get the video before our exams?
Yes, sure. By tomorrow, it will be available.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yeah, sir. Please, can we get the first? I mean, the one we did in class. Can we get the video?
Hey, how can we get video of what?
I'm asking if you have a video on it. Like
Yeah,
the
so
one
the video I want to share with you, hopefully will cover that session as well. Yeah, we'll cover that session together with the part. But I just want to emphasize more on the coding aspect because it looks like that's the part that most of you have difficulty. All right. So that being said, let's quickly talk about the exams. So for both full-time, part-time, the exams is taking the same format. So you have two sections, section A and section B. Section B is the practical project. So like I keep saying, it is based on what with the code we've written and all that. So I'll just give you a nice interface to design based on what you've learned and then write code to implement it. Okay. I think the part-time also the full-time should follow the same format, I think. Yeah. All right. So I think with the part-time one, you are given an interface, but with the full-time, you don't have an interface. The instruction is there. So you, based on the instruction, you design the interface yourself. Okay. You design the interface yourself. But the part-time, you'll be given an interface. And then you use that to create the application. And so that's for the section B. So the section A, by the way, there's no objective. You've written the objectives already. That was your midterm. So the section A is going to be written in the answer booklet. So it's going to follow the format of the if you notice the three quizzes we did. Okay, we did 3 quizzes before the midterm. And I believe you've all come for your assessment book and also your midterm question, your midterm results. Okay, so the section A is going to follow that format. And if you remember how the questions were posed, they were straightforward questions with short answers. So if you remember, there were some of the questions which has to do with how to write if-else statements, questions about loop, questions about if-else statements, questions about array, questions about you being given a Java code or a C++ code, and you write the equivalent code in VB.NET. Okay, so it's going to follow a similar approach. And basically all the questions that are coming are from the handout. Questions regarding maybe how to use the bit shift operator and so on. These are things that we've seen in the quizzes we've done. Okay, so I repeated some of those questions inside the session A for both the full-time and the part-time. Okay, so not necessarily the same question, but similar context. Okay, questions similar.
Please, can we get the quiz questions?
So I'll share, there are 3 different sets. So I'll share them with your class reps. Okay, so that they can share with you as well, together with the video. Okay. All right. Any question? Any questions? Any question? I saw some hands up. Is it Elton and a few others? I saw your hand up.
Sir,
Yes.
please, I wanted to know if you have a different approach in the coding part, can you apply that, or is specifically for, let's say, if you are to use functions, you should use functions, or if you have any, let's say, different approach, you can use that one too.
Or if you have a different approach and it works, why not? The
Okay.
only thing is that if the question is saying you should create a function at this place.
All right.
So let's say the question is saying that create a function for the reset. And you decide not to create a function. That means you are losing marks for that. So you will not get the full marks that apply because the question was specific that you should create a function. But if the question is not stating that you should create a function and you have any other method you want to use to write that portion of the code, and I run the code and it works, why not? You get your marks. But if it's specifically stated in the question that use a function or using a function or using a sub, do so and so. Okay.
Okay.
Try not to use a sub. That is when it will go against you.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So in the absence of any question, we will share a word of prayer and then